Hello, and welcome to the first ever T.E.S gaming discussion. I'm your host, T-Man28, and today I'm joined by L to discuss our predictions for the Nintendo E3 2019 Direct. So L, before we go into any in-depth predictions for this E3 Direct, what are your overall thoughts about this Direct as a whole?
Well, I'm thinking, there has to be some information about the games that, were announced, but we have no information on, like Luigi's Mansion 3 and Animal Crossing. So I'm very excited to hear more about these games.
Yeah, I agree. I'm super excited as well because there's, like you said, Animal Crossing, Luigi Mansion 3, some of the best games that are going to be on the Switch. We don't have any information, and it's almost guaranteed we're going to get information on both of those in this Direct.
Right.
So we're going to split this Direct, or these predictions into two parts. First, we're going to talk about games that have already been announced, and if we think they're going to be in the Direct, and if so, what's going to be shown. And then the second part will be our own predictions of games that haven't been announced yet. And just to clarify, we will only be talking about first and second party Nintendo games. We are pretty confident that there are going to be third-party games and indie games in the presentation, but we're here to talk about Nintendo first-party games. So to start off, we're going to start with Super Mario Maker 2. We're going to go in release order of the games we know about right now, or what we would think would be the release order. So, Elle, for Super Mario Maker 2, do you think there's going to be anything in the Direct?
Well, I'm not really sure since they spent 17 minutes on a little mini direct for this game, showing off, all of the new features and everything. I am not really, if they're are going to have something for this direct, it'd be something very like, hey, this is coming out, it's coming out soon, so please buy it, but I don't really think it's going to be that big,
Yeah, I don't think, a lot of people think there's going to be a new game mode, but I don't think there would be, because I think they'd be marketing that more than 2 weeks before the game came out.
They would have said it in their 15-minute direct that, they're going to have a new game mode, because they pretty much just showcased the whole game in that direct. But
Yeah, there might be new game modes for DLC, but, I don't think they would show this in the Direct yet. The game hasn't even come out. Why would they show DLC,
Right.
Okay, let's move on to Fire Emblem Three Houses. Neither of us know too much about this game, but we know about the stuff that they showed in that 8 to 9 minute spotlight in the February Direct. But yeah, do you think this will be shown?
If it is, it's probably just going to be it's a reminder we have this game coming out too. I don't really think they're going to be showing any more, new stuff being added to this game unless something really big. But, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think they might show a little bit, like saying, yeah, watch out for Fire Emblem Three Houses on the Nintendo Switch on July 26th. But I think it's more likely that we'll get a Direct the middle of July showcasing the game, because I think the majority of the people who are playing this game are the people who already care about it. Like, they're not going to get many people watching the Direct. Most people aren't just going to be like, oh, that Fire Emblem game looks good. The people who want to play the game already know about it and already know the information, so I doubt there's going to be too much about it in the Direct.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so let's move on to The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the remake on Nintendo Switch. We know that there's probably going to be information because we know that the demo is going to be available to play at E3 itself, and it's on the lanyards, the Nintendo lanyards. So, yeah, we're probably going to get information. Is there anything in specific you think we're going to see?
Probably, since it's the demo, probably, the gameplay, more into, what franchises, what other Nintendo franchises are going to be into this game, because we already see, Super Mario in this game, but I don't know if there's maybe a new feature, if they're going to have one, but I don't know if they're even going to have a new feature since this is a remake, so I'm not really sure about, too many new features, but it's probably just the gameplay since yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll just be new gameplay because most of the, if it is a remake, is exactly the same with just a few enhancements and like the whole just the graphics are improved. When do you think this game will release? I personally think August would be a good month because I feel like it's not their end of the year game because it's just a remake. So it's not their huge holiday title like Pokemon Sword and Shield is.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. This game just seems like a September game to me, like like fall, like but not not like November because Sword and Shield is coming out. Pokemon Sword and Shield is coming out then. So, but it feels like fall to me rather than kind of summer. But I mean, late August would be good for this game too. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we can agree that it'll be earlier than the main holiday season, shopping season. Okay, now let's move on to your most anticipated game of the year, Luigi's Mansion 3. So, like, the main gameplay of this, do you think it's going to be more like Luigi's Mansion 1, where it's all in one mansion, or do you think it'll be more like Luigi's Mansion 2, where it's multiple?
Well, with the little information that we have, it could go either way. But I'm I'm almost positive that it's gonna be like Luigi's Mansion 1, where it's one big mansion that you're exploring in, rather than separate little like mansions or not even mansions but buildings, you know. But what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, because in the artwork we've seen, that little, well, it was basically the logo with the artwork in the background, it's that big hotel, and that's a big hotel. And I don't think they would have multiple buildings if that's the hotel. Yeah, so I'm thinking it's gonna be more like Luigi's Mansion 1, but a lot longer because I know that game's really short.
Yeah,
So yeah, in the trailer we saw that there were like banners hanging down with Mario, Peach, Toad, Luigi's faces with X's crossed through them. Do you think that means that Mario, Peach, and Toad will be playable, or do you think they're just captured, or what do you think that means?
well, based on how the two previous games are played out, yeah, no, I do not think they're gonna be playable. I think that they're just captured. Mario has always been, associated with the final boss, and he's the lot like, that's the reason Luigi's kind of there. I mean, or why he stays, because he has to find Mario and free him from King Boo. So, I don't know if that's the same role Peach and Toad will play, because in Luigi's Mansion 2, or Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, we saw Toads kind of scattered through these mansions that were captured, and used the Dark Light device to free them. I don't know if Peach and Toad will have the same role, or if Toads are just Toads and maybe Peach are just scattered around the hotel, and they're safe points, because in Luigi's Mansion 1, these Toads were just scattered around the mansion, and they were, if you talk to them, you could save your game. But I doubt that these will be playable characters. Maybe if there was an online feature after you beat the game, I doubt that.
Yeah, because I feel like it would defeat the point of the title being Luigi's Mansion if from the get go you can choose between Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Toad. That just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I just do not think they're playable. But who knows?
Yeah. Do you think Luigi's Mansion 3 will have a subtitle like in America? Like Luigi's Mansion 2 had the subtitle Dark Moon, while the rest of the world had Luigi's Mansion 2, just that. Like, for example, Luigi's Haunted Hotel. I know that's probably not what it would be, but something like that.
I don't think so. I mean, there could be. It could be something like. It'd be something. I feel like it'd be something as vague as Dark Moon was. Because if you just, like. I know for me, when I got it, I was like, what the heck does Dark Moon mean? Like, what? And then I watched, like, the first, like, 5 minutes or, like, 3 minutes. I was like, oh, that's what the Dark Moon is. That makes sense. It made sense when you, like, started playing the game, but, like, if you just see it on the shelf, like, what the heck does Dark Moon mean? Maybe if you read the back of the cover, that might make a little bit more sense too. But, I mean, they could just easily like leave it as Luigi's Mansion 3. They don't even have to put, a subtitle. I mean, because Dark Moon was pretty much just Luigi's Mansion 2. To the rest of the world, it was just Dark Moon for here. So
Yeah, I think it's becoming more and more likely that it'll just stick as Luigi's Mansion 3 because, first of all, there was a new uploaded logo for the game on the Nintendo flyer that said what games are playable as demos, which this is, and on the lanyards it's also on there. So I'm thinking it'll just be Luigi's Mansion 3. And speaking of this being it as a demo at E3, do you think they'll show a lot of gameplay in this direct? Do you think they'll have like a 10-minute section to this, or do you think it'll just be like 5 minutes of the game and then move on to something else?
well, I feel like with what little information we have about this game, it might like it could be a 10 minute, like it could easily just be like a 10-minute chunk of this direct. But I mean, they could easily just give this a 5 minute like say and just go, oh yeah, we have like Luigi's Mansion. We gave you a little bit of information about this, a little bit of gameplay, but now we're gonna move on to something else that's more important. So I feel like like Animal Crossing or something like that. But I feel like they should like give a 10 minute. They would give a 10 minute little piece to this, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, that's hard because I think, well, if they are doing like chunks like they oftentimes do in directs where they give like 2 or 3 main games plus then they scatter all the little stuff in between, I think Luigi's Mansion 3 and Animal Crossing would be the two big games, plus maybe like Link's Awakening or a brand new game. But I feel more like this direct's just gonna be like, here's a 5 or 6 minute trailer of this game. Here's the next 5 or 6 minute trailer of this game, you know?
Yeah.
When do you think this game will launch? Because it seems like the perfect Halloween game. But personally, I think it's going to come out late September to maximize the sales before Halloween, because you can't really market it as a good Halloween holiday game after Halloween, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it could come in late September, but I'm also thinking, early October, just because, like, that's kind of when people are all like, ooh, yeah, we're, spooky. So I feel like, late September, early October is a great time for this game to be, like, the sales would really peak, in these.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason I was thinking that is because usually Nintendo launches games the latter half of the month, but obviously they couldn't launch it at the the second half of October, or else they would get basically no sales before Halloween. So that just made sense to me. But they could easily do early October. They did that with Super Mario Party last year, so yeah, it's proven to work. Is there anything else that you have for Luigi's Mansion 3, or do you want to move on?
No, I have nothing else for Luigi's Mansion 3, so we can move on.
Okay, so now let's go to Animal Crossing Switch, which is my most anticipated game. And I think a lot of people's, because we haven't had a new mainline Animal Crossing game in 6 years in America, 7 if you're in Japan. So yeah, it's time for a new Animal Crossing. And if there's any game that's going to be really shown off in this direct, I think it's going to be Animal Crossing. I think there's a good chance that we're going to get 10 minutes of... I think there's a really high chance we're going to get 10 minutes of Animal Crossing Switch. So the main feature in New Leaf was being the mayor. Do you think they're going to bring that back? Because it would be really hard to go back to just a normal villager and not be able to do all the things as mayor.
Yeah, they have to bring back being mayor. Because being demoted down to just a villager, that's so lame, I mean, you're like, oh yeah, New Leaf, you're mayor. Oh, now you're villager, so you don't have as much power. You just vote. But yeah, they have to bring back mayor unless they're gonna give you like step up like senator, or president. I mean, like, well, I feel like it'd be mayor to president because I don't think anyone would want to be like a senator or something. But
They just have like a congress of animals.
right, so they have to mention being mayor.
Yeah, I don't think they want to bring too much politics in Animal Crossing. Yeah, so I think they'll try to keep it mayor, maybe just expand upon that by giving you more things to do as mayor, you know?
yeah, more responsibilities as mayor.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they would be, but maybe more like customizing things on Main Street. Like in Happy Home Designer, they had the restaurants, in the hospital, and the school, all that. I think that'd be really cool if you could incorporate that in New Leaf, or not New Leaf, Animal Crossing Switch,
Yeah, rather than you just deciding where a lamppost goes or a bench.
or just saying, "Oh, I want my villagers to wake up early, or I want them to stay up late."
Right.
Yeah. So, do you think there's gonna be new animal types? Because a lot of people do, in because like in New Leaf they added the hamsters and the deer, but I don't really think there's any animals that Animal Crossing needs.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have like almost every like typical animal in unless they add something crazy like a ferret. I mean, like, yeah, we have ferrets now. But I just don't what else they could add. We have bunnies, but we have rabbits. I mean, they're literally like the same thing. So, like, they have so many animals already. I feel like it's going to be really hard, to add more animals.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people online wanting bats, but I just don't see that as an Animal Crossing villager type. Like I see more marine animals like dolphins and sharks because they really lack those. The only thing they have is a squid from the Splatoon amiibo tapping in, and then the two or three octopus. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
since going from the 3DS to the Switch is a big jump up, so I think they're gonna make the towns a lot bigger, and they're gonna have multi layers like in City Folk, where you go down that little hill area and then you're on the base level with the shore, and then if you go up that hill, you're up above, and then you could see below your town. So I think they'll add that back into the Animal Crossing experience.
Yeah, I agree. That they probably will, unless they're gonna have the teeny little land like they did in New Leaf.
Yeah, that would. I don't even know why they would do that because even on the 3DS, that was a tiny town.
Yeah, very tiny town. Little.
The biggest complaint I've seen on New Leaf is, "Oh my gosh, this villager moved in and went in the middle of my path,"
Oh, I've had that complaint too.
or they like, "Oh my gosh, a villager just moved in and killed those flowers I spent months trying to get a special color." Like, I think they're going to do something to fix that in Animal Crossing Switch. Like maybe either they're just going to let you choose where villagers are, or they're just going to put it in the code of the game that villagers cannot move on paths or flowers. What do you think about that?
I think it's more likely that we'll see, the code censoring, where a path is or where flowers are, than you just choosing where a villager goes. Because if you, have this ugly rat coming into your village, like your little town, I don't think they'll just have you send him way uphill so you don't ever have to talk to him, and then have all these little, your circle of these villagers that you love just come down, I don't know, downhill. I don't think they'll do that because it's a little bit of playing favorites. So
Yeah, and that's always been a part of Animal Crossing. You have to live with those people you hate, and you always live with the people you love.
exactly. So I don't think they'll do that. I think it'll just be censored in the code that let's not have you just plop right down on my path.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, that is the most annoying thing ever. I spend all this time on this path, and then this villager just comes in on the path. I'm like, okay. Oh, so
Yeah, it makes you not want to put down paths.
no.
Okay, so New Leaf's maximum was 10 villagers in a town. Do you think they're going to increase that? Because if they're a bigger town, which is almost guaranteed, and even in New Leaf, 10 villagers seemed really small.
Yeah, they have to increase the number of villagers if they're gonna make it bigger. Because if you're only gonna have 10 and it's huge, I mean that's not that many people. That's not even a town. That's a community. Not even a community. That's it's one
Yes.
block. That's one neighborhood block of people.
And if it's so big, your villagers would never interact.
Exactly. So I feel at the least, there should at least be 15 people. That should be the maximum, but I mean,
I could see 12 to 15 most likely, but they might go up even to 20, but I highly doubt that.
Me too. I doubt that.
But I think that'd be so fun to have like so many villagers because it was always so restricting having only those 9 or 10, and you're like, "Ugh, I really want the whole set of like the 4 superheroes, but I don't have enough room."
Right. Guess I have to go kick out my other neighbor.
In terms of online functionality, I think this game will have a huge amount of it because so far the only big online game they have isn't even out yet. Mario Maker 2, that's pushing Nintendo Switch Online. So I think Animal Crossing Switch will really be pushing that because Animal Crossing has always been like a game with your friends and online. And yeah, so do you think this will have a lot of online functionality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, the only one that's really pushing online is Super Mario Maker 2, and if you're like me, who had to pay, who paid $20 like a year for this, you want to be able to do more with online than just, so I feel like this game has to have more, like, of online functionality. I do.
I think. Do you have any ideas for that? Because I think like they might share a town. You might be able to share a town with people online, or maybe you'll just be able to have the luxury of sending a letter to your friend through online instead of having to go to their town personally and then sending it.
Right, yeah, I feel like that'd be so much of a less hassle, because, I remember that in New Leaf. Oh my gosh, it just made me not want to send letters to anyone. I just, plop down money here and go, hey, take the money now, so I don't have to write out a letter and send it, and then wait until it's 5 o'clock tomorrow you're in your town so you can see this letter. But that'd be so much more convenient if I could just write a letter, send it in my town's post office, and have that come to your town. But
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
creating a town with friends, that would be neat. That would be really cool, a feature to have.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really cool feature. I probably would just do a town by myself because I wouldn't let my I don't know, someone just random person coming in and tearing out all my flowers or my paths, but I think they should be able to restrict that to like who you have a town with and maybe like set restrictions like if you set down a path here, you can't have anyone else take it out, or maybe like they'll have elections like the mayor. For the mayor, if you do tasks, your villagers will vote for you. If you're playing once a month, they will definitely not vote for you and you will not become mayor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely vote for that guy who doesn't even visit us.
Or you could like hold campaigns. I think that'd be cool, but it'd probably be unlikely.
That would be getting into politics in Animal Crossing campaign.
Yeah, I don't think Animal Crossing wants to get political.
So wait, do you think there will be any new special characters then in Animal Crossing Switch?
I definitely think there will be, but I don't know how many, because New Leaf introduced a bunch because they needed it with the Dream Suite and retail and all the new things they added, but I don't know about this game. What do you think?
I just don't unless they have a couple new shops, they might add new special characters, or if they have like a dump, where you dump all your trash. That'd be great. I guess that's kind of the retail, but I literally mean the garbage dump. That'd be so great.
I don't know how much more they could. I don't know how many more special villagers they could have for what reason, but then again, they found a way to introduce some Harvey guy to campsite, so yeah,
Yeah, there's always something, that they can do.
So, do you think they're going to be new house improvements? Because I always thought the houses in all the other games, in New Leaf in particular, were limiting. Because you could have your 4 different rooms on the main floor, but then you could only have 1 room on upstairs and 1 in the basement. I think they might, and I think they should, increase the number of rooms upstairs for sure, and maybe in the basement.
I see the upstairs being more likely to increase rooms rather than the basement. I think they should include an attic and maybe have a couple of rooms, and hallways would be nice.
Yeah, hallways would be really nice. Like, be able to design the layout of your house. That'd be so nice. Like, putting pictures in the hallway, and then yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I would love to have an attic to just like dispose of all my villagers' pictures that.
Yeah, that you want to keep, but you don't want to, have in your house.
Exactly.
So I think we've about covered it for Animal Crossing. When do you think it will be released, though?
If it's not going to be delayed in 2020, I think it's going to be December because they can't release it. I would have said September because that seemed like, when they first announced it, I was like, oh, that's probably going to be a fall, like an early fall September game. But now they're like, no information, so I'm guessing more December. But they could easily just push it back to 2020.
Yeah, more and more signs are leading to it being released in 2020. Like, we haven't gotten any information. It's not on the list of demos, but it says and more. So that could include Animal Crossing. They just don't want to share the final title, but who knows? Maybe it's not demo. Maybe there's not a demo of it at E3, or maybe they won't even show it. That'd be very disappointing, and I think Animal Crossing fans would riot all over the internet. But yeah, I think they have to show it though, and I agree. It'll probably be December if it's this year, and I think it will be this year, but it could easily be delayed till February or March of next year, because I personally would think December would be probably the worst time to release an Animal Crossing game to play it, because you have Toy Day to look forward to, and then you have those few winter months in the early spring where you don't have anything to do and nothing to look forward to. So I've always felt Animal Crossing's a good game to release like late summer, early fall, but yeah, I think September would be nice, but I don't think they're going to release it this soon.
No.
So let's move on to Town. We know very little about this game. Basically, we just know that it's a game that completely shows up. You completely play in a town, defending your town from monsters. And it's developed by Game Freak, obviously. Do you think this will be shown in the Direct, or do you think this seems like a thing where they would just randomly show some later time?
Well, if you're going to show it for the Direct, I don't think it'll be too long. It'll probably, since Town is the working title, they might show that it's something Town, and they might talk about it a little bit, but if they do, I don't think it'll be for a long time about this, maybe 3 to 5 minutes about some Town, or if they change the title, something Town.
Yeah, I think they're going to show us the finish name. But to me, it seems like an eShop title, like that $10, $15 game that you buy in the eShop. Because how big can a game that takes place in one town, last, It can't be a full $60 game.
Yeah, it just seems like that Nintendo eShop game that you'd buy, because there's nothing else to play, there's no...
Yeah, it seems to me like your Box Boy or your Snipper Clips, games like that.
Exactly. Yep, I agree with that.
So let's move on to the final game that's announced that we might see in this Direct, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Originally, I did not think we would see this at all, just because we've had that Direct last week showing off Dynamaxing, a bunch of new Pokemon, the wild area. But now that there's a demo on it and it's on the lanyard, I'm thinking we're going to get some information. What do you think?
Yeah, there has to be a little bit of information if they're going to have a demo about it. I mean, I don't think there'll be a whole lot of new information though, since again we already know about the wild areas, Dynamaxing, and the new characters and the new Pokemon. But there might be a couple of new Pokemon. They might mention a bug, your early bug and your other different bird, maybe a normal flying, not just that steel flying one.
Yeah, because... Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're going to see our bug, because we didn't see that in the Direct, which I'm surprised. They need to show your early game bug, and I don't think Corviknight is the early game flying, because unless it has a pre-evolution we don't know about, that would be kind of weird. But we've seen screenshots from the Pokemon Company that Corviknight at level 60, and it hasn't evolved. So all the regional birds have at least 2 or 3 evolutions, so I would think there's going to be another main bird that they should show off. Do you think they would show off anything else, like the evolutions to starters, like the middle, or like, I don't know, a new Dynamax, new evolutions to old Pokemon? I don't know.
Maybe they might just like throw that out. I doubt that there'll be any like new evolutions for like old Pokemon.
You don't think they would just blow it out like a new evolution then?
Well, I mean like Eevee evolutions, yeah, but I mean like another evolution to.
Well, there's a rumor that there's a new evolution to Farfetch in this game. It's been proven pretty credible, but yeah, you don't know.
Like, I just don't even know what that thing could turn into. Like, maybe it's like a more like nasty, like a more furious duck that's got like it's got like a sword for a leak and it's just like got angry red eyes and it's trying to stab people. I don't know. I mean, like, what could that thing even turn into?
Yeah. So I think that about covers it for all the games we have announced. So now that we've covered all the games that we know about, let's move on to games that we think will be revealed at E3 this year. And for me, I want to start with Pikmin, because I feel that there are two possible options for Pikmin. I feel like there's the good chance that a Pikmin trilogy Switch port will come, or Pikmin 4. So let's start with the Pikmin trilogy. Do you think this Pikmin trilogy will be coming to Switch and be announced at this E3?
I feel like the trilogy, like, I don't know if it'll be announced in this direct, but I do feel like there will be a Pikmin trilogy because, people want to play Pikmin 1, but, I feel like some people might want to play Pikmin 1, but they just don't have the GameCube. I mean, because, that's when Pikmin 1, that's the console Pikmin 1 was released on, but I just don't really feel like it's gonna be in this direct.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it either way. This direct seems like it could have a lot of Pikmin, like this trilogy and Pikmin 4, or none of it at all. It's kind of hard to tell. And just to clarify, this Pikmin trilogy would include Pikmin 1 and 2 ported to Switch in HD, along with Pikmin 3 just straight out ported because that was already in HD, just with new controls because there's no gamepad anymore. So what about Pikmin 4? Do you think that'll be revealed? Because in 2015, Miyamoto said, quote unquote, Pikmin 4 was very close to completion. Do you think he actually was close and they just ported it over to Switch after the Wii U failed, or do you think there was a problem internally and they canceled it and restarted, or what do you think happened?
I kind of feel like they just restarted it. Miyamoto was like, oh, I don't like, how you made Olimar look, or I'll redo the whole thing. It's not good enough. But, they could have canceled it too. I mean, who knows? I mean, I just don't know. I feel like, though, they just restarted it.
So do you think this will be revealed at E3 this year?
I doubt it.
Well, I feel like this is one of the last big Nintendo series that not on Switch and has not been announced for Switch yet. Like, we have your Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Kirby, Animal Crossing, all announced or already on the Switch. And I feel like Pikmin's one of the last ones that actually needs to be on Switch,
Yeah, I agree.
So let's move on to Mario Sports Game. And more specifically, I think that a Mario baseball game will be coming to Switch. I just feel this because it's the perfect time with it being added to the Olympics. But that's just me. What do you think?
I don't know. I feel more Mario Golf would be, because when was the last time we had a Mario Golf game? I mean,
On the home console, it's been since GameCube.
exactly, or like a Mario Strikers rather. I mean, baseball is not really like new, but it's not relatively like old per se. So I feel like those two would be more likely than baseball, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Golf seems very likely to me because it's been a year since Mario Tennis Aces wrapped up. Camelot's probably been working on the next game, but I don't know if it's ready yet. It might. I have a feeling the next Mario Sports game will come out the first half of next year, but I don't know if it'll be revealed here or not.
Right.
but I really want baseball with all the new characters that have been come out since Baby Daisy, the Koopaling, or not Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina, the Koopalings, Pauline, all those. It'd be so nice having those characters added to baseball, but that's more of a hope more than a prediction.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Metroid. And this game we kind of had leaked by Best Buy in their internal system, and then they quickly like turned it off on their website and got rid of it. Metroid Prime Trilogy. We know it's going to happen some point or another. Do you think it'll happen in this direct?
Maybe. I mean, since, Metroid, Prime 4, or whatever, Metroid 4, got moved back.
Yeah, development restarted.
Right. So, I mean, I feel like this could just kind of satisfy the Metroid fans. Like, hey, we have a trilogy.
Yeah, play this until our game comes out in 5 years.
Yeah, we have this to satisfy. I mean, but, I don't know. Like, it could, but it also couldn't come out in this direct. I mean, it could go either way for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a real thing though, because if Best Buy leaked it, it's pretty likely that's.
Oh yeah, it's probably real, but I just don't know if it'll happen at this direct.
Well, obviously we won't see any Metroid Prime 4, but do you think we'll see a 2D Metroid?
Maybe. I mean, I don't really know. I mean,
Yeah.
if we have the trilogy, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're getting one or the other maybe. Probably not both.
Yeah, I doubt both.
Okay, let's move on to Retro Studios game. Do you think that will finally, whatever they've been working on for the last 5 years, will finally get revealed? Because they obviously, well, I hope they weren't working on Funky Kong for 5 years since Tropical Freeze came out on Wii U.
I know
That'd be really sad.
Yeah, that'd be really sad. They were Funky Kong for that long. Well, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, do you think that Star Fox Racing was real, that leak that said Retro Studios was working on it?
No, not at all. Because Star Fox is pretty much, sad for me to say it, but it's pretty much dead. I mean, there's barely, the only real game the last game that really considered to the storyline of Star Fox is, Star Fox Command, and that came out in, 2006. So, but with a series like Star Fox, you can't really do anything because it's like a story to be told, and stories end. Like with Mario, with Super Mario, you can just keep coming up with a bunch of different stuff that will never end because it's not really a story that ever ends. But with Star Fox, I mean, it's like a book. You have to get to the end of it at one point. So, what Nintendo's been trying to do to revive it, it's been trying to do, have all these different remakes of Star Fox 64. So, they literally had Star Fox 64 3D, and then they literally had Star Fox, and then they had Star Fox Zero, which just was, had better graphics, but was again pretty much, it had stuff, but was again pretty much just Star Fox 64. So that, and then they had, it's on its last legs. I mean, they gave, the rights to Ubisoft, to Starlink, and that didn't do too well.
Yeah. Do you think that rumor was actually just Starlink, like Star Fox and Starlink?
That could have, that rumor easily could have been that.
Or it could have been fake, about every other rumor.
Right, it could have just been, fake, how rumors are fake sometimes. But, that could have just, I just don't think that rumor, there's a lot of things where that rumor could have come from, but no, Star Fox 64, not Star Fox 64, Star Fox Racing, I highly doubt, because...
So what do you think Retro is working on? A new IP, a new Donkey Kong country? Because I would really like a new Donkey Kong Country, to finish off a trilogy, after Return to Tropical Freeze, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a new Donkey Kong Country, just because they kind of already had, like, I mean, Tropical Freeze, they just kind of had that remake for the Switch. But I just don't really think that's it, because, I mean, it could be. I think it'd be more of a new IP, but I just doubt Donkey Kong.
I just think Donkey Kong would be a perfect time because they could introduce K. Rool, the main villain, back again. They could introduce a few new Kongs, maybe like Tiny Kong, Baby Donkey Kong. I don't know. They basically have all the main ones now.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think we're both pretty certain that we're going to see Retro Studios game in this direct.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, now this one's also been leaked, or more like data mined. So earlier this year, the Nintendo Switch Online Nintendo Entertainment System app was data mined, and they found that Super Nintendo games were coming. So now it's just a matter of when will it be announced. I think this would be the perfect time for it to be announced. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like it's highly probable that they'll announce it now. And if not, they'll do it soon. I mean, it's only a matter of time before that's announced.
Yeah, it really is, because those NES games, they have basically all the good, really good ones already on there, so they're putting some not as high quality ones. I'm not saying they're bad, but, you know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So the next 3 games, I'm just going to say, they're probably going to come to Switch eventually, but they're probably more like 2020, 2021 games. But there's still a good chance that they could be announced here, or probably at least one of them. So I'm going to go through them and we'll talk about them. So first, Mario Kart 9. Do you think that will be announced at this direct?
It could be, but I don't really think so. I just feel like that's more of a 2020 game.
I agree. But in terms of Mario Kart 9, if it does get revealed, do you think it'll be actually a Mario Kart 9 where there's Mario characters, brand new Mario characters, Mario tracks, or do you think it'll be Nintendo Kart? Like they'll include like Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and then like add Kirby, Metroid, Pikmin.
I think it'll still be Mario Kart, and just for the reason everyone loves Mario Kart, everyone's heard of Mario Kart, Mario Kart is known. I mean, you can still add a couple of your other Nintendo characters like they did in Mario Kart 8 for DLC on the Wii U and Mario Kart Deluxe. But Mario Kart is, known for, it being about Mario and Mario characters and Mario tracks and Mario items. I mean, so I feel it will still be Mario Kart, but they could add just Kirby or Samus and then leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree, because I would much rather prefer a Mario Kart, because if it was Nintendo Kart, they wouldn't include the more obscure Mario characters like the Koopalings or the babies or your Dry Bowser, Dry Bones, Toadette. You just have your main Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yoshi, Toad, Bowser, so on. So the next game on the list is Mario Odyssey 2. Do you think that'll be announced? Because it's been too long for Mario Odyssey DLC, so their team's probably working on a sequel. If I had to choose between this or the next game, I'll say which is. I think this is more likely though, because the next game is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild sequel. I think it's in the works, but I don't think it'll be coming out or announced here.
No.
But that game would go crazy. People would go crazy if that game got announced.
Yeah, seriously. That'd be a real crowd pleaser.
So let's move on to DLC of existing Nintendo games. And everyone knows that Sakurai's confirmed that there's going to be a new Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC fighter announced. And I personally think there'll be two. One that is announced and released right after the direct, and then another one that will be announced or teased for maybe a later release, like July, August, September-ish. So who do you think this fighter or fighters are?
Well, okay, so we know it's well, I think people have been saying Steve from Minecraft or Banjo and Kazooie. I think Banjo and Kazooie is more likely to show up in Smash,
Yeah, as like a Microsoft representative.
right? Rather than Steve, just because I don't know if Steve would look really well, because he's more blockish and
Yeah, he wouldn't look very well and he wouldn't work very well, I don't think.
in Smash, and I feel like I just feel like I just feel like Banjo and Kazooie would be more of an interesting character for Nintendo, so they'd jump on that rather than Steve. But I don't know. And I've heard of Porky from Earthbound, so
Yeah, if there's a first-party Nintendo character, which I doubt, I think they're all third-party in the Fighters Pass. I think the first party would be Porky, though. Yeah, so I agree. I think Banjo-Kazooie will be in Smash. But I think, well, it's been heavily rumored, too, that Erdrick from Dragon Quest will be joining the game, because in the code of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there's a name called Brave, and that is Erdrick's Japanese name. So it's pretty much confirmed. So I think both of them will be announced in this direct, but I think Erdrick will be the one that will be released right after with version 4.0, because I feel like if they drop Banjo-Kazooie right away, people won't really care for Erdrick in a few months.
yeah, I agree. No, yeah, I think Erdrick will be the one that gets released right after the direct.
What else do you think will be with version 4.0? We don't know this for sure, but I'm fairly certain version 4.0 will come out sometime soon. And it'll be announced in this direct.
Well,
It'll be correct.
I don't know really what else they could really add off the top of my head, but
We'll probably add some new spirits and maybe a few new modes like Home Run Contest or, I don't know, Smash Run. But that's kind of big.
yeah, no. Probably some spirits. They'll probably add Dragon Quest DLC spirits or something, or Banjo, like when Banjo Kazooie comes out, their spirits, but that's really all I can think of.
I personally think they're going to add Echo Fighters. I don't know in this direct personally, but why would you create a whole new type of fighter if you're only going to add like 5 or 6 new ones? So I think some good examples would be Funky Kong as an Echo Fighter, Donkey Kong, Dixie, which she could go either way. She could be an Echo Fighter Diddy, or she could be similar to like Isabelle is to Villager, like very similar based off of it, but a few different moves.
Right.
Or Octoling for Inkling.
Yeah, I could see like those echoes, but I just don't know if they'll have them in this, like add these in this. So I'm not really sure about that.
I highly doubt this, but I think it would be likely that so all the huge Nintendo franchises except Animal Crossing has like at least 4, 5, 6 characters in Smash, and Animal Crossing only has 2. So alongside like to help market the Animal Crossing Switch, I think they would probably do a character to it. I feel like Tom Nook and KK Slider should be in the game because they're like the biggest two besides Isabelle. And I feel like they kind of deserve to be in the game as well. But I don't know. I don't think they'd be in this direct, but I think it's very likely that they could reveal it alongside Animal Crossing Switch.
Here's the problem I have with that. What would their moveset be? Because
Yeah, that would be hard.
even Villager and Isabelle really don't really. I mean,
They're very similar,
They're
yeah.
very similar, yeah.
they're very similar, and it's pretty like their moveset isn't real. I mean, like it's their moveset is so similar, and with KK and Tom Nook, they're pretty much, you'd have to do it, like, those would be two new characters, most likely. I mean, I just don't see...
Yeah, I don't see either of them as echoes, because they would have given it... Isabel seems more similar to Villager than Tom Nook does to either of them.
Exactly, so I just don't... Like, what could their moveset be? I mean, like...
The recovery, Tom Nook's just holding onto a sack of bells that inflates like a balloon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what could it be? Like, KK Slider just hitting people with his guitar? I mean, I don't know. That's my only issue with that.
So I think we covered Smash pretty well. Let's move on to other DLC for other Nintendo first-party games. So we know that DLC for Splatoon 2 is wrapping up in July, or add-on content and free updates. I think it's too late for Mario Odyssey DLC. Kirby Star Allies is done with DLC. Mario Tennis Aces is finishing up in July. So I think the next game to get DLC is Super Mario Party, because they need more boards than 4 boards in that game.
That's true.
And it's so easy to bring a few characters over as free DLC in that game, and so many people love it. It sold so well. I guess they really don't need DLC because it already sold like 10 million. I think it's already sold like, I don't know, 5 million units or something crazy. I don't know. Probably more than that.
Right. So they could do that, though. They could add DLC and add a couple of boards and add a couple of characters. I just don't know if it's... Well, for me, it's not very likely, but it'll probably happen.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost more likely to get a Super Mario Party 2, because in the GameCube era, they would release a Mario Party every year, every other. And I feel like they might want to start doing that with Super Mario Party, because Super Mario Party 1 just felt so bare, like they were leaving stuff out on purpose almost.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they'll just add DLC rather than make a whole new game. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would rather have DLC, but they'll probably... I don't know. They might announce it. Maybe it'll be a next year game.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, do you have any more other predictions?
Nope, not that I can think of. Not for this Direct. Nope.
The only thing I want to mention is Nintendo specifically confirmed there will be no hardware, so they will not be releasing or announcing the rumored Switch Mini or Switch Pro. But it's not unprecedented. We could have an announcement next week, like right after E3, like, hey, guess what? There's a Switch Mini coming out.
Right, exactly.
So I think that about covers it for our Nintendo E3 2019 Direct predictions. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing to T.E.S for more on Nintendo at E3 2019, including a discussion after the presentation in which we give our thoughts and impressions of the Nintendo Direct.